Hello everyone, welcome to another video by a very awesome me, and we are going to talk about dragons, but not the usual stuff. What we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the evolution of how dragons comps can start and then slowly get better and better and better. And as an indication, even though the runes are totally different, most of them suck, like completely and absolutely, I will still show you, even if they fail. Let's start with what I'm gonna show you now is my very first dragons team, like my first one, like the one I used at the beginning. Brienne didn't have a leader skill back then, so I was using Chow, I think, and where is it? Where is he? Karanthir. So this was my... And then I got Chloe, and I replaced Bella with Chloe, because I had Karanthir as a... I had Karanthir as my... But let's start with this one. This was like the very first Dragons team. It's very similar to the one I'm going to show you right after. This team was, I had recently gotten Chow and Brienne. Chow was max skill, Brienne just had his third skill maxed. The runes were similar. My Karanthir was, my Karanthir is not runed like now, he has like crappy word boss runes, but the other four should be able to carry him. Obviously Brienne had much worse rune, Chow was tank Chow back then. Just Dragon's Chow, you know. Bella was a bit faster but similar. All in all, it was a similar situation. Karanthir is just dead weight in this, but he was very good because he put a lot of dots up. He put defense break up, so Bella wasn't that needed, so I could use Chloe for the immunity. There was no Veramos back then. Obviously, you can use Veramos now. But I still suggest that for teams that do not use Verde, I still like a Veramos. See, this is the stage where I preferred Chloe to Brienne because Chloe gave me immunity for Zyros. See, so I didn't have to worry too much. And Karanthir was auto targeting Zyros with his defense break, so everyone was targeting Zyros afterwards, and that helped me tons. But now it's, you know, more... Yeah, see, he puts dots up as well. This was a dot team. I was relying on Chow and Karanthir to put all the dots up, and then the rest were there to support them and stuff. And this is a team that, like, I don't suggest Karanthir anymore. I mean, Verde is a better option. This team was centered around Chow, and you know, even if everything went to shit, Chow was there to clear the final parts of the boss. But it worked all right, and you know, it was the first Dragons, and back then Dragons had just changed into the format that you all know now, so it wasn't there weren't anyone to help us build stuff, and there was no Veramos. I repeat, that is a big thing. And my Bella would definitely not have survived hit by the dragons back then, the dragon back then. But now he has tons of defense, so he does survive it. See, like lots of dots. Kona resurged. Back then, I think Kona was resurging Karanthir, not Chow, most of the time. Because they were like one speed apart. Because I preferred to have repeated chances at defense break and AoE dots, rather than have the because Chow had Torrent back then, so that didn't do that much damage. So instead of the uncertainty of Torrent, I would rather have Karanthir who puts dots with all his skills. So this is, you see, it still works. It still works, even though Karanthir has like random runes on him, it works. Very happy about that. And I got I got over a month of solid use of that team, so it was definitely worth it. I still use most of the monsters in this team, except Karanthir, once again. I should rune him for world boss. And you see, around 3 minutes, that's how much it took. 3:30, 3 minutes. I think my fastest run was like 250 something with this team. It was very close to the team I'm going to show you now, which was an after Veromos team. This was a team that I started. I didn't actually use it because it was slightly slower than my current one. Oh, I need to bring Brett out, sorry. This is sort of a history lesson, but it also serves to show you how to approach dragons. So you shouldn't go for a face, even if you have Verde, you shouldn't really go for a face team right away because you are going to die. It's much better to assume those nice but more weird tower comps, so that you go, you go for a safer run, but at the same time a much more reliable run that will net you the runes that you will need to go for face dragons. So this was after Veromos was released, and I took out the Chloe. This comp was fixed. Jello Dragon and myself used it a little, like we kind of tweaked it on his stream. Most of you don't know him, he doesn't stream anymore. What was it, Kona? So yeah, Kona. And see now here, the 5th slot is, Passepartout. You can use Bella, you can use, Chloe, Briand, Mykeen. Back then I tried it with Briand and with Chloe, both worked. I suppose you can use Verde as well if you are looking for a comp, for not a Verde comp but not face comp. Let's show you what I did for a little bit, but then I figured out that my Karanthir comp was still faster, so I didn't use this one. I think Jello used it with Chloe, so let's do that one. I would probably suggest Mykeen since she's fusible and she's much better than she was then. Like, her res is better, her second skill is better. You know, she's a very, very, very viable monster, and you should definitely, like, if you're a free-to-play player that's struggling and trying to get through dragons, this is a team, a 100% free-to-play team, if you use Mykeen instead of Chloe, that is absolutely, definitely doable to do dragons with it, even if everyone is swift. I would suggest that you put Violent on Kona. He functions very well with Violent, even if he has crappy runes. So I would definitely suggest Violent on him, and then the rest can be Swift and Despair, it doesn't matter. The Mykeen, I would probably suggest Despair, Speed, HP, for example. The rest are kind of self-explanatory. It's Veromos, it's Bella, you all know how to rune them. And it's fine if you go from Giants to Dragons with this comp. It's fine if they're all Swift. You have double cleanse, you have a res, you have 2 water monsters, you have dots, you don't have anything wind that is gonna worry you. You have despair stuns, which is really nice. So yeah, this team really works. It's not as fast as the previous one can be or could be back then, but it's also very, very safe. You see, Beretta despair stuns, invaluable. They help so much with the waves, and the Kona stuns help as well. You'll see later, maybe, I don't know. But Kona is great too. Kona hasn't had to cleanse once so far, I think. I missed it if he did have to. But you see how good the synergy is. This is a team that I suggest. I would use it with Mykeen, but I don't know if they can carry my crappily ruined Mykeen through this. Maybe they can. Maybe I'm underestimating my stuff, but you never know. But yeah, you see, let's just keep talking about it, I guess. I would rune Beretta, Despair Focus for this, Speed HP or Speed HP Accuracy, Veromos, Swift again. If you probably don't have the Violent runes, so I'll probably go with Swift. And Focus, Energy, probably Energy to survive a bit more. You can use Veromos Leader, obviously. In fact, I would suggest that you use Veromos Lead until you feel strong enough to use the Beretta for the extra speed. You should be absolutely fine with the Veromos Lead, and it's definitely safer. Again, I'll show you the advanced version of this, where you ignore the left tower and you go for the right tower. Obviously, you can go left, right, center, but because you have Beretta, who does AoE dots, and the left tower has much less HP than the right one, as he puts more dots up, he will because he turbulences as well, and you can tune it so that he gets resurged by the cone and gets more turns. You can make it so that the towers die at pretty much the same time or very similar, and then you go for the boss and it's over. See, more dots. We failed on the left tower, but then again you have 2 cleanses, right? And Mycene if you need to, so you have immunity, you have everything you need. You don't need anything. You don't. You're not gonna have trouble with the left tower, even if it stays alive. And boom. And now you kill the boss. The left tower will die to the dots anyway, even if like, you don't really care, but it will anyway. Probably before the boss dies. For all intents and purposes. Yep, next turn it will die, so no more dots, and this is an absolutely safe and beautiful run. It does, as I said, it takes a little bit longer, right? But it's just as safe as the other ones. You have 3 healers again. You have 3 healers. You have a Reser with Mycene, or an immunity and invincibility buffer with Chloe, or another Reser with Briand. You have 2 cleanses. You have ADB boost with Bella. It's a very complete and very safe first team. To anyone who ventures into dragons for the first time, I do suggest that you go with Veramos leader. You can try Beretta, but it's a fusion team. It's okay if your first team takes 4 minutes to do dragons. Okay, it's absolutely fine. If nothing else, if you're free to play, slightly longer runs are okay because you regen energy that way. So let's say voila, this rotation you got Verde. Excellent. What do you do now? There are a few options. First, do you have good runes? Do you have the runes to do this team? The infamous standard, as standard as it gets, the standard dragons team, the standard Verde dragons. This team can go from 3.5 minutes to sub 2 minutes, depending on runes. That's how versatile it is. Currently my Sig, I think, is attack crit damage attack, not speed crit damage. Your Sig should probably be speed crit damage attack for this. Mine is attack crit damage attack, but it's okay. Yes, you can use Theo. Yes, you can use Chow. Yes, you can use Spectra. Yes, you can use Stella instead of Sig. But all of them are worse than Sig. All of them. There is no better monster than Sig from this combo. Let's take it from the top. Stella. Stella is not that great. She doesn't do enough damage. She needs too many stats. There's no way when you start off you have the runes to rune a Stella as I have mine, for example. There's no way. Even if there is, you want those runes on other monsters, not Stella. Theo. Theo is just plain old worse than Sig. He does less damage in dragons. He doesn't have AoE. Done. He's worse. Chow. Chow is not a bad option, but again, he doesn't do as much damage as Sig. He's harder to rune, and he doesn't have AoE, which is always nice. And AoE attack break from Sig is very good. Who else did we say? Hua? Hua you can use, Spectre you can use. My first Dragons team was with Spectre instead of Sig here because I hadn't fused Sig, but right now my Spectre is not DPS. I had a DPS Spectre back then, so I'm gonna use Sig and I'm gonna skip that part of my history. It's okay guys, you will understand. My Spectre is TOA runed right now, so I can't really use him. So this is the standard Dragons Verde team. As we said before, you can use a team with like Veramos lead and Verde, not in the lead but giving his attack boost. The thing with Verde is he makes speed runs faster. He doesn't help as much with supporty-ish tower teams. He does help, but not as much as maybe a Reser that will make the run a bit safer. So I would not really suggest Verdeha unless you make a face team, but you can still use him and it's okay. You can make teams like that, face teams, as you go out from, let's say you go from the previous stage to this stage and you don't have Verde, you can, in this team, you can replace him with Spectra, for example, or with Kona. If your Veromos is fast enough, you can replace him with Kona and you'll be good. You'll be fine. In this team, for example, if your Veromos is, let's say, a Swift Veromos with 220 speed, just replace Verdehal with a Spectra and you'll golden. Okay? If he's not, then I would suggest you replace him with a Kona. More information on Verde-less teams, I have a video on Verde-less teams. You can find it in the How to Speed Teams playlist. And always, as always, you can ask me in the comments. So yeah, going back to this team, this is the absolute, golden standard. I got Verde, let's do dragons team. It's very easy. Anything, all of them can be Swift. You'll still do it just fine, unless they're like 140 speed. But the speed tuning is not that important. For the most part, it's nice if your Verdehal is slower than everyone, or at least slower than Bella, Vero, and Megan. It helps a lot. It also helps if your Megan is faster than your Bella. Why is that? Because you want Megan to use her second skill and remove the immunity, so that Bella can then move and remove and put defense break up, so that your Sig actually does damage on defense break. It helps a ton, trust me. And boom, as you can see, if my Sig was speed, it would be even better, but this was still a decent run. See, 2 minutes 8 seconds. And this team can go even faster. So you don't, if you're running this team and you want to speed up your dragon run, you really don't have to do much. You can still make faster and faster and faster dragon runs with the same speed. It's all about how you rune them. If you put all of them on violent, or like my look at my Megan. My Megan is PvP runes. She's shield will. My Verde is violent. My Bella is violent but raid runed. He doesn't have a speed rune. He's HP defense. My Sig is not speed crit damage attack anymore. My Veromos is Veromos, okay. But yeah, this is the team that you can keep improving and improving, and it will get better and better and better. It scales very well with runes, and speed tuning, as I said, it's not that important, but it does help with the speed aspect. With the fail aspect, it won't help that much. It doesn't matter too much, but again, it will help. Like if my Verde was slower than my Bella, we might have seen an even faster run here. Never mind that though. So this is the golden standard, right? The golden standard Dragons Verde team. Now from there, actually I should, wait a sec. Let's go back in. Okay, so now I had a lot of questions onto how we make speed teams without Veromos, with more DPSs from here. From this team, how do we improve that? So, okay, so let's say you've reached the absolute maximum you can with this team. You cannot get faster. Let's say you are at the 2 minutes marker exactly and you can't get faster, right? What do? Okay, let's say you have Galleon, right? Where is Galleon? My PvE Galleon. Here he is. Boom. One change. The team got faster. The second change should be this one. You either put Tark or Spectra in there. You can try with both. I would probably suggest Spectra first, and then the final one, Tark. Let's put Stella in there for the lols. Or Chow. That's how you do it. You don't just go from the previous team to this team just like that, because that will probably end up with a much bigger fail rate. You will not like it. It's hard to rune. So what I would do is do it one by one. So you replace Megan with Galleon. Okay, let's keep going. Let's run a month with that. Or if you want to change runes without it being rune removal, let's run 2 weeks with that. See how it goes. It went well, good. Let's take out the Veromos and put in a Spectra. I suggest Spectra because since you don't have a cleanse, you want everything to move slower so that you have time to DPS down the boss. So you use Spectra instead of the Veromos, and then the last one, you never should replace Sig. unless you have a Chow and a Stella. Like my team is like that. Actually, let's finish with my the explanation. So yeah, that's how you do. You do it one by one. Verde stays where he is, and then you slowly increase your stuff. You don't have to use, if you don't have Galleon, it's hard to make a team like this. You can use Mantura, the Dark Serpent, and you can keep the Bell as your defense breaker and not use an attack bar buffer and go like this. So Bella, Spectra, assume a Spectra somewhere in there, and where's Tark? And Tark, and then Spectra. And you can do this team as well. It's a bit safer and it has an extra heal, you know, and it has defense break, so it's okay. If you have the Dark Serpent, it's a pretty decent Galleon replacement. Yes, attack buff is not there, but Tark does a lot of damage based on speed. Sig does based on HP, so attack buff is not that huge. You will be fine even without it. Plus Mantura does pretty good damage with his third skill and his second skill, and he has attack speed break on his second skill, I think. So you know he removes immunity with his first skill. He's very good, so you can use him as definitely very good Galleon replacement, even though he doesn't have attack buff. Now let's go into my team, because people are going to ask, oh, you can also use Julie as the DPSer at some point, but do not use Julie if you don't have Galleon, because the big good part about Julie is that you pretty much delete a wave with time to loot, 1,000 cards, 1,000 Soch, done. You know, wave over, it took you 3 seconds, and you pretty much sped up your run by that much. If you don't have Galleon, don't use Julie, no point. So let's talk about my team as a closer. The reason I switched, well, Stella, you all know why I use her. She's very good combo with Chow. She reduces the attack bar. She's an extra defense break. The reason why I took out Sig and brought in Tark is because I realized I have the runes to make a beastly Tark. For starters, this is a beastly Tark. This is a crazy good Tark. The other reason was because I didn't need Sig's damage as much as I needed something that was actually faster than my Verde, and Tark is. My Sig couldn't get that fast because he has 96 base speed and Tark has 115, so yeah, obviously. And Tark helps with the defense break. My one issue with my team that sometimes threw it over 120, over 130 was that defense breaks just didn't land ever. So with Tark's third skill, that is very much help, because you have Stella, you have double defense break, and then you have an extra chance for Tark to bring them in and defense break. Also, he reduces cooldowns, which in Stella and Galleon's case, it's ridiculously good, because you know Stella and Galleon have very good cooldowns on their third skills, and Stella and her second skill as well, so it helps if they are reduced. If you don't have Chow, you can use Sig, don't worry. Sig is just as good. He does very similar damage, if not more damage than Chow. He just can't carry your run if everyone dies and he solos it. But that's why Chow is there and not Sig, because he makes for a much safer run. That's it. Sig might actually make for faster runs like this, but I use Chow because I don't want to fail, and I'm fine with 53 seconds and 1 minute runs. I don't need to make 40-second runs and reduce my success rate by 5%. So that's it. That's it for my evolution of Dragons teams video. We're going to make a similar one for Giants and for Necro, don't worry. I just did Dragons first because I think it's what people farm the most. So I wanted to focus on that and get it out there, help you guys out, help you going from a normal team all the way to a very fast team. And let's treat you to one run while we talk a little bit about the future. Yeah, this is my normal Dragons team. You will see. Hopefully we will see some of the things that I said, that I talked about, like Tark bringing in people for defense breaks. He also he can also bring in Verde, right, which is Yes, it does reduce the attack, his second skill cooldown, which is bad. But Verde will always use his first skill, so you know that's a nice 40% attack boost that you wouldn't have had otherwise. So that's great. He's very similar. Tark is very similar to Sig as well as far as tankiness is concerned. So it's not like the comp got really squishier. So that doesn't matter much either. And his second skill just does absurd damage. You will see. Yeah, I think that's it for this video. Let's just watch them clear this. And yeah, you see, that's it. This is my Dragons team. 105. It has gotten the 53 with Tark and Sig, so both can get that time if you care about records. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope it helped, really do, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.